Hello, you are welcome to Elevate Your Day podcast. My name is Pastor Freida, and here we talk everything growth. We talk about personal growth, career growth, and entrepreneurship growth. We bring to you amazing individuals that have gone through several milestones, that have grown through different seasons, and they share with you honestly and unfiltered their growth journey. We're not bringing to you their highlights. No, we're bringing to you their ups and downs, their highs, their lows, the opportunities they probably missed, maybe because of ignorance, negligence, or for whatever reason, but how they navigated different seasons and how they grew. And if you are not yet subscribed, I think this is the best time because you would like to stay with us through the various episodes that we will be sharing with you. But today we have a very, very unique story. And this is the first in our season. This story is a story of personal growth, but uniquely different because it was triggered by pain. And just in case you think you didn't hear me right, yes, personal growth triggered by pain. Stay with us till the end so you can get a hang of it. And I would like to have my guest introduce herself. Please do.
My name is Abigail Oyakire Elijah, a wife, a mother of two, an entrepreneur, a Christian, and I live in Nigeria.
Oh, Abigail, nice to have you on the set.
Thank you, ma'am.
You look amazing.
Thank you, ma'am.
And you have a story, a growth story that you would love to share with us. Very unique. Talk to us. What happened?
Sometime in October 2022, I noticed my husband was losing weight. He wasn't looking bright. He wasn't active. And I wanted to know why. And most times when he goes to work, he comes back with his food. He doesn't get to touch it. And I asked him. He said he was watching his weight. After some weeks, I noticed he was still not okay. He wasn't eating even at home and not even at work. I said, why don't you do something? Because you're not looking okay. He suggested probably it's malaria. I said, if it's malaria, why don't you do something about it? He took the tabs. After a week or more, he wasn't still okay. He went for the injection. After the injection, a few weeks up, he was still not okay. I was like, I think this is beyond malaria. I think you need to do something about it. Then I began to notice his color was changing. He was kind of sluggish, not active. That was when I knew that I had to step in. I had to personally drag him to the hospital. On getting to the hospital, the doctors, they ran a series of tests, which took like almost a week or thereabout. At the end of the day, the result came out. And it wasn't a good one.
What was the result?
He was diagnosed with acute kidney disease and hypertensive heart problem. And that was a series of events that changed my entire life. Our world just like came to a stop at that point because we didn't see that coming. We were not expecting it like from where.
That was a whole lot for you to take in, especially because you didn't see it coming.
Not at all.
So there was no preparation for this. Nothing in the world would have prepared you for this.
Nobody planned for such.
Nobody plans for such.
It just happened.
After this diagnosis, what happened?
When the result came out, he needed urgent kidney transplants. But before then, in my case, I think God prepared me for it ahead of time.
Really?
Yes.
How?
I'm a Christian and I have a personal practice or culture. I fast like every year, not the regular fast. I take out 3 days, dry fast. I listen to the word, I pray, I go off food, I go off social media. Except I tell you, you won't know because I go about my daily activities. But I make sure every year I take out 3 days to do this fast.
So this is what you do being a Christian.
This is what I
as
do.
Your practice and
as
your culture
my practice,
is.
as my personal culture.
So what was unique about this this particular fast that you engaged in?
I did plan to do it then. Normally, I'll do it at the beginning of the year. I did, but not as intensive like I did, because I noticed this happened a month after the fast. That was when I started noticing the changes. And amazingly, I wasn't kind of moved. Looking back at everything, I noticed I wasn't moved, and I was wondering how, what kept me going.
Very interesting. Okay, now you have a diagnosis. Your husband has what we consider as a bad case, a bad condition. He has family. Your husband has family,
Sure he
siblings,
does.
maybe parents. Did you bring them on board? How did you break this news to them?
I remember that evening when the result came out, the doctors asked for his family members. He asked if his family members were around. I said, yes, there are. He said, I think you should send for them. That was when I knew it was a very serious issue.
When a doctor tells you to send
You
for
need to
family
send for
members,
family members.
you know that
you need to prepare.
it's
because
serious.
You're going to hear something.
Okay.
So they sent for them and they came. Yes, the family broke down when they got the news. I was the only one looking at everybody. I don't know why. Probably because I've been expecting it. I've been waiting for the results. I don't know. But somehow I knew I was like, okay, what's next? That was what was on my mind. What's next? Okay.
What exactly did the doctor say to you and the family members?
When the doctor broke the news to us, he told us that we need to prepare as a family. I need to prepare as the wife, because it's going to be a very long journey. So we had to face the matter at hand.
What were your preparation procedures like? Because when a doctor says to you, prepare, what exactly did you do? How did you prepare for this?
When a doctor tells you to prepare, so you either expect the worst or the good, or just it has to do with you. What are you preparing for? When the doctor said you need to prepare for this, I knew I had to put myself together. I need to put my business together. I need to get someone to take care of the kids so that I can face whatever the situation is, because we are going to be in the hospital for a very long time. It was a case of in and out of hospital. At that point, I had to get someone to take care of the business. I had to get someone to take care of the kids at home. I had to get someone to make sure they go to school, they pick them up, and they're well taken care of, so that I can concentrate and take care of my husband in the hospital. Because as we are getting to the hospital, he was already on admission. And the first phase of admission was like almost 3 weeks.
And you were in the hospital with
I
him?
lived in the hospital with him.
How? What do you mean by you lived in the hospital with him?
When I mean I lived in the hospital with him, they started dialysis immediately. I couldn't go far, because when you have such case, you'll be there to feed him. You have to be there to help dress him up, clean him up. At that point, he was so weak, he couldn't help himself. So I was the one doing everything for him. So at that point, I had to make sure everything is in order so that I am not distracted. For the first 3 weeks, I was practically living in the hospital. I only go home, probably I went home after 2 weeks to see the kids and come back. We are living in the hospital.
Okay, so the dialysis procedure that your husband was undergoing was such that he would go in, he'll be on the machine for some hours, and then he goes back home.
4 to 5 hours. He doesn't go home.
Oh, wow.
He was in the hospital. Because some days he had to do what they call back to back. Depends on how much toxins he has in the body, in the system. So most days, we were not going home. We were living in the hospital the first 3 weeks, until he was a bit stabilized. That was when we were discharged to go home. But the first 3 weeks.
On getting home, how did you manage this situation with the children and their father? Because by this time, he wasn't the dad that they used to know. I'm sure he would have lost a lot of weight. He was no longer himself active, playing with them. Did the children know exactly what was happening to their dad?
Sure, they knew. They knew they were in the
At
picture.
their ages?
Yes, we communicate, we talk. So they ask questions. We talk on the phone while we're in the hospital. We do call. How is daddy doing? What's the face? What's happening? So they knew.
Wow.
We told them about. So everybody was prepared. And I had to let them know so that they can pray for their dad.
Oh, that's so touching.
They can pray for their dad.
You told me about a consultant who gave you a clearer picture of what this kidney transplant will entail, because it was, medically speaking, the only solution. Talk to us about it.
Okay, now the first, because this started in October, November, December
Of what year?
2022.
Okay.
After 3 weeks, we left the hospital. Few days later, we had another emergency. We had to rush him back to the hospital for another section of dialysis. I remember that period. The case was so bad that a consultant called me. He now asked me a question. He said, "Madam, are you a Christian?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I am a Christian too. I speak in tongues. I go to church. But your husband's case, it can only take God for him to survive past December."
December of that
December
year,
2022. And before then, for every test, I have series of doctors I send the test result to interpret, to help me explain. Probably the hospital is saying something else. So I wanted to get their opinion. And let me say, 3 out of 5 of them gave me the same thing. They told me the same thing, that he wasn't going to live past December 2022. At that point, fear entered. I became afraid.
He told me something about his kidney function.
Yeah, it dropped to 0.03% at a point.
If I understand what you mean, 0.03%.
It was at the last stage.
Stage 5.
That's the last
stage.
The end stage. Wow. So when I was told that I should expect, like, he's not going to make it past December 2022, I became scared. I couldn't even use the toilet. I couldn't even bathe. I couldn't shower for days because I had to sit very close to him, watching to see when it will happen. I remember one of those days, my mom called me. He said I needed to sow a seed. He said I need to do a sacrifice. That was her words. I was like, "Mom, you have started. You know, I don't do all these things. I don't like it." He said, "What I'm telling you, I need you to take it seriously." He said I should look for a widow and sow seed into the widow's life. At first, I was like, they have started again. I ignored. A week later, I remember what my mom told me. And I had a widow friend. I had her account number. I sent her money. She called me immediately to find out what the money was for. I told her to take care of the girls because she had 2 girls. I told her she should use the money to take care of the girls or do anything she wants to do with it. At that point, I knew I only had God and I needed to do everything humanly, spiritually, medically possible. I remember 2 weeks to Christmas, we were discharged from the hospital. We went home. I think I went out to get something. The lady called me. It was like, "Abigail, why didn't you tell me?" I was like, "Tell you what?" So why didn't you tell me that your husband has been sick? Because I've been sending people to your shop and they said you're not always there. And you didn't tell me your husband was sick. He said, "That day you sent me that money, I and my kids, we prayed for you. And we prayed for your husband. We prayed into the midnight. At a point, when we felt we had a note of victory in our spirit, we now went to bed." That was the point I knew that something had happened. In her way, she was like, after the prayers, I wanted to find out what happened, but I couldn't reach you because most times I had to put my phone on silence because we were much. I needed to concentrate. That was when he told me that they prayed for me and she doesn't wish me to be a widow, to come to that other side of life. That it's not a good place.
Because she
is
already a widow.
Yeah, she's a widow. That I should not worry, that God will take care of things, that they prayed for me and God answered. That gave me confidence. At that point, I felt a bit relieved and encouraged.
Let's talk about the financials now,
Okay.
because it would have cost a whole lot being on dialysis. How many times you said?
Sometimes 3 times a week, some days 3 times a day, depending on the situation, how
This
weak or
must
strong
have
it is.
eaten deep into your pocket financially. How were you coping? Just bearing the cost of dialysis and other medications, because it's not just dialysis. I'm sure there were other medications that were being administered.
Wow.
What kind of support did you have at this time?
Initially, it was money from the business straight to the hospital. Like, as the customers are paying in money into my account, it's going straight to the hospital. This happened from October to December
Of
2022.
Okay.
2022. I had jobs coming. I was busy. I was doing things. So at that point, I didn't feel it. I remember in a month, by the time we were asking for our statement, it was already 2 million. I was wondering how, where did it come from? This continued into 2023, 2024.
So, are you saying that throughout 2023, your husband visited the hospital?
Back to back. At a point, I got tired of the emergencies. I could be at the shop, you get a call, please, I need to get to the hospital. You could be on your way to probably do school runs. I need to get to the hospital because that's how bad it is. Because if it's not connected to
this is like
machine,
you living and sitting on the edge, because like it was critical.
not funny. He was in a very critical state. I remember one day we went to church. He told me he needed fresh air, that he was feeling choked. He couldn't, even with all the AC. So he stepped out. I waited a while, I didn't see him. I came outside, I was asking, did you see him? They now showed me where he was. And there were a group of doctors. They were already attending to him. And they said he needed an emergency dialysis. We called the hospital. They don't open on Sundays, the particular hospital we were using at that point. But we called the nurses involved because they knew our case. So they had to start coming to the hospital. Getting to the hospital, that was when I got tired of everything. And before then, when they were attending to him, I said, okay, these are doctors, these are consultants. I now called one aside. I said, what is the medical solution to these emergencies? Because it's becoming embarrassing. You just turn, you hear they are gathered, they are trying to help him or something. He said, the best solution now is a kidney transplant. That was 2023. And I asked, okay, kidney transplant. So like, how much should we be looking at? He said 20 million.
20 million naira.
20 million naira.
This would be well over $13,000.
As at then.
Okay.
I said, okay. Getting to the hospital, after so many tests and examination, I think the same incident repeated itself. That was the point I got tired. I said, what is the matter? Let us go for this transplant. That was when I started making inquiry, asking, reading online, trying to find out.
Before this time, were you reading anything online?
I don't have any business with it.